There are some of these I just love owning. I'm looking at this Petite Mal here. I've still never used that bag ever. If I extend into another room, my husband's going for divorce. My first instinct was I have to have that bag. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, let's talk about the need to own things. The need to buy things, to surround yourself in these beautiful things. Exhibit A, almost to make your home like a altar of beautifulness and surround yourself in these things that, let's be honest, you may never actually use very much. You may never have the opportunity to use very much. And a lot of them, there is a risk, may become very expensive ornaments. This video comes from a comment I received on a post I put on my community tab. I will sometimes post handbags that I see on there. If they're handbags that I own, and you guys have contacted me quite a lot about selling or buying, if I see them for sale anywhere, I will post them. Or if I come across a bag that I absolutely love and I'm just obsessing on it and I need you to talk me out of buying it, I will sometimes post that on my community tab as well. This particular post was an Hermes Constance in the 18 size, I think it is, in the most beautiful baby pink. I think it might have been Rose Secura. It was stunning and it had rose gold hardware and it was calling my name from across the screen. It was stunningly beautiful. It was very expensive. I did not buy it, but I was lusting after it and I thought it was very beautiful. And somebody put a comment in that post saying, you don't have to buy everything that you like. You don't have to buy and own everything that you think is beautiful. Treat it like a piece of art. Look upon it, appreciate its beauty, leave it on the museum wall and then walk on. Go home. You don't have to own everything that you're attracted to or that you think is beautiful. You can appreciate their beauty from afar. You can appreciate their beauty leaving them on the shelf and not having to own it and having to buy it. And I thought that comment was really, really good. I thought it was spot on. I thought that's something I could do with working on, if I'm completely honest. And it also led me down a little trail of a conversation in my head about this need to buy and this need to collect and this need to purchase, rather than just looking at something and thinking, isn't that really, really beautiful? Isn't it stunning? I love that. I'm really glad I've seen that and now I'm going to move on. Versus my mentality that sometimes can creep in, oh, pretty thing, buy, put on shelf, look at, go and visit, own. Yeah, it's an expensive addiction, let's be honest. And let's also be honest, there are 7 days in a week and 52 weeks in a year. How many of these bags, I don't even know how many I own at the minute. That always scares me. I don't know many I own. How many of these bags can I honestly say get regular use in a year? Regular use. Not once or twice, not 3 or 4 times, but get the type of use and the type of level of use that one would expect when one is spending ridiculous thousands of pounds amounts of money on them. Not that many. I go to work 5 days a week. When I go to work, I take my Neverfull. It certainly is paying for itself. It goes every day, loaded up like a workhorse. Sometimes, depending where I'm going, I may have the need for a smaller crossbody bag that I'm going to go to a meeting, for example, and leave the Neverfull in the office and then come back. Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes there's a need for that. Then there's 2 weekend days in a week. 2. And then there are how many holidays in a year? Probably maybe 4, say, where you're out and about a lot more and being able to put outfits together that are not reliant on work, and whenever you're getting an opportunity to use these bags more often than at the weekends. There's evenings as well, of course, but I have 2 young children. They're 3 and 6. Our evenings are quite limited. Yes, there will be evenings when my children stay at home with my husband and I go out with my friends, or I go somewhere, or I go on a day trip with Bestie, normally shopping and looking at more of the things to put on the shelves, normally. But yes, there's evenings, but they're limited with the children. So there's not that many opportunities to use that many of these that often. And the truth is, I don't care. I don't care. I love them still. I still want to buy them. I still want to own them. I'm still very, very attracted to them. Why? Why is there this need to collect whenever I could just look upon their beauty like the piece of art hanging in the museum wall and return home? Truth be told, some people may think I'm a little bit strange, but I quite often will come up to this room and sit. And I know, I hear it before I say the words. Almost sit as if I'm sitting on a bench in the museum. I'm about to compare these two magnificent 100-year-old masters of art pieces of work in museums. I know people are not going to agree with that and are going to come for me with that, but I will come up here and sit on this chair as if sitting on a bench in a museum and just sit and just look at them. Just look at them. And yes, they're handbags, but they're also to me pieces of art. I love them. So I will come visit them, chat to them. No, normally there's a dog with me and I'm chatting to the dog, but look at them certainly as if they're pieces of art. But I do think there's sense behind this comment. I am never going to be a minimalist. Let's put it out there before I even suggest that. But I do think there is sense in this comment that you don't need to own everything that you love and that you admire. And that's something that I'm trying to work on, because I have always had collector-like tendencies. When I was a young child, when it was troll dolls, when it was My Little Pony, when it was Care Bears, I collected them. And I learnt quite early about myself that I have quite an addictive personality. It's why I have never ever smoked. It's why I do not drink very much. It's why I have never done other certain things, because I know I have an addictive personality. So when I become intrigued by something, like trolls when I was a child, even use those as an example, I will become quite addicted. It is quite it'll go from 0 to 100 rather quickly, and I will want to collect those, and I will have collections of those. And whenever you're collecting troll dolls or My Little Ponies that were a few pounds, that may be a little bit more palpable than these prices, but as we grow up and our interests change, as did what I decided and started to collect. Now these have dual purpose, because I do wear them obviously, but I'm not going to sit here and lie, and I've said this in other videos when I've been unboxing things or talking about bags, I do have collector-like tendencies. There are some of these I just love owning. I'm looking at this petite mal here. I've still never used that bag ever. I know, I hear it. Never, but I love it, and it's not going anywhere because it's a piece of art, and I suppose, collected it. And with handbags, does that make sense? Does any of this make sense? No, it doesn't. But whatever is in me that makes me like to collect things, that has extended over into handbags, and I love being surrounded in them. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but I do agree with this comment in that I do think there needs to be a limit for me. In my personal circumstances, with my financial situation, with my children, my family, there needs to be a limit. Let's be honest, it's a rather generous limit, look around us, but there needs to be a limit. It's not something that I can just keep going and keep spending and keep collecting. That's not something that's within my means. If it is, fabulous. I would probably have a museum, and I would have it all shelved, and there would be lights, and there would be beautiful chandeliers, and it would be walls and walls of handbags, and I would be living my best life. But I'm not there, I have to say. So that's not something that's a possibility, but there are so many of these bags that I see, because let's be honest, and we've talked about this in videos, the houses are putting out so many different collections. And there are so many of them that I see and I think, I love that, I would love to own that, I want to buy that, and I have to take a moment. I have to try and learn that I don't need to buy and purchase everything that I love and think is beautiful, especially when it comes to handbags, because they are a lot of money per unit. And I don't have that much more space. If I extend into another room, my husband's going for divorce because he thinks this is ridiculous. So I do have to put the brakes on, and there has to be a limit. And I need to learn that when I see certain things, I need to take a moment. I'm also very impulsive. I need to take a moment, try and curb the impulsivity and step back from it and think, do you really need that? Need? Ha, that's funny. Do you really need and want that enough and have to put that into your collection? That's not a real life need, but a need for your collection. Do you really need to do that? Or is that a bag that if you give yourself a moment and slow down and breathe and you look at, is that a bag that you can say that's stunning, but that you don't need to have here in these shelves. You don't need to buy. One of these bags that comes to mind was I was obsessed with the Chanel Pearl Mini. I thought it was stunning. I liked that it was unique. I liked that it was different. I liked the pearls on it. I thought it was beautiful. But I have been priced out of that bag. And I'm not saying anybody pricing that bag that's selling it is now doing the wrong thing. They're pricing it per the market price. But the prices of that bag is now away up around £10,000, maybe more. It's very, very expensive. That's priced me out of that bag. I would not be in a position to comfortably, in my own mind, whether I have the money or not, spend that amount of money on that bag. So that is a bag that I had to have a word with myself, that when the prices continued to rise, that's a bag you're just going to have to appreciate its beauty and love, but not own, not buy. And I think that's the first one where I had a very serious conversation with myself, saying you don't need to buy them all, you don't need to own them all, because there are limits and you can't use them all. And there's also limits about how much I can, in my mind, and I'm not even talking about what's in my bank, but what I can get over spending on a particular bag. And when it goes above that, I need to leave it on the shelf. This morning somebody put a photograph on Instagram, and if I can find it I will share it with you on the screen. It is from the new Chanel collection and it's a sequenced bag. Now I have, there we go. There, I have a Chanel sequenced bag and I love that bag. I fell for that bag. I saw that whenever it came out. It was the same collection that the heart bag everybody went crazy for. Personally, I don't love the heart bag, but that I loved and I saw and I had to have. So that was one of the ones when I couldn't talk any sense into myself, but I saw this one on a photograph from the runway and it's a Chanel sequenced bag. It seems to be navies and black sequences and there's writing over it and it says Paris and Chanel and CC, and I thought it was stunning. And I'm going to be honest with you, my first instinct was I have to have that bag. Before I even took a moment to process anything, to think about anything, I thought I have to have that bag. That bag has to come and live here. I had its space where it was going to go already processing before I'd even thought. And it was, I have to have that bag. And I thought to myself, hold on a wee minute. You're thinking about this comment that you got. Do you need to own everything? No, you don't. You can appreciate some of it from afar. I'm not saying I'm going to be a reformed handbag holic. I'm not saying luxury's over for me. I'm not saying I'm going to stop shopping luxury, because all of that would be blatant nonsense and lies. All I'm saying is I have to get to the point. I have so many of these things. There are things going on in the world, other financial commitments and priorities that I've talked about this year, that I need to limit how many that I go, oh, I need to buy that, oh, I need to buy that, oh, look at that, I need to buy that, because I don't even think, I just impulsively see the sequence, see the colour, see the pattern, oh, I need to buy that. Okay, there's another one to put on the shelf, and yes, that's going to happen, but I need to try and not make it with every bag. So I looked at this bag and I thought, you've got that one that you love, absolutely love, and it's brighter colours and it's sequence. Do you need this one as well? Because it's Chanel prices now and it looked a little bit bigger than a mini, so I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere between the £5,000 to £10,000 sterling mark. I don't know the price, but I'm assuming it's going to be very expensive. Do you need to add that in? Do you need to add that bag into your collection? It's beautiful, it's stunning, but do you actively have to go on the hunt for that bag? Do you need it? Do you need to add it in with what you already have? You already have so many bags that they're now having to be something about them. Although there was something about this, it's absolutely stunning. But there has to be something that can justify bringing it in. And I'm trying. I'm not saying I'm succeeding, but I am trying to make myself think about each purchase now, as in, do you need to actually buy that? Is it your addictive personality? Is it your collector tendencies? Yes, it's stunning. Do you need to buy that? There's also a bag that was on that runway that is it's fab. It's a camper van, Chanel, with a surfboard on top. It looks to be like a metallic, a metal or an enamel bag. It's absolutely fabulous. I don't think I'd ever use it, but I can imagine it on that shelf and oh my goodness, it would look superb. It would be fab, but it's going to be very expensive. Do I need to buy that? No, I don't. And I'm having a word with myself and trying to get myself, whenever I look at these bags and I see the new collections and I look at them, to pause, try and curb the impulsive tendencies and think, is this one that really is going to hit all of those marks to justify bringing in and spending the money on, because I'm still going to buy them, still going to shop. But you're trying to cut it down. You're trying to limit. You're trying not to just buy everything that you see and that you love. And some I'm trying to learn to love from afar and to appreciate their beauty but not have to own. So each bag now I'm trying to assess like that. And this Chanel bag is the latest that has come up. And I'm trying to look at it and think, that is absolutely stunning. But do you need to own that bag? The answer could be yes. We're still in this process. But at least I'm thinking about it. At least I'm processing it. Whereas before, what I'm trying to curb is, oh, pretty, buy. Because I admit that's happened in the past. Because I do tend to get carried away with things. So I'm trying at least to have a process. And these are my thoughts on that comment about needing to own everything and collect everything. Of course you don't. Of course you don't. But my personality, I'm going to admit, is addictive and is collector tendencies. I'm trying to curb that to the extent that I'm trying to have a bit more of an assessment on each bag before I buy it. Another example was the Artie Capucines last year. There was a beaded one of those that looked like a harlequin pattern, bright colours, absolutely stunning. I think it was £78,000, very expensive, stunning. And my initial reaction when I saw it was, I need to own that. I need to own that, need to set it next to its mate over there. That one's very lonely, need two. Need one on each side, stunningly beautiful. But I talked myself out of that because I thought, do you really need another one? That price range, or that one's multicoloured as well. Do you really need, And I didn't. And it was stunning, but it's something that I can appreciate its beauty and not have to buy. And that's what I'm working on. I'm not saying I'm ever going to completely get there. I am definitely not saying I'm ever going to be a reformed handbag addict. I'm not even trying to be a reformed handbag addict. I'm not trying to stop, but I am trying to slow down. And I am trying to pause and consider each bag. Not that sometimes I didn't, let's be honest. Consider each bag and think, is this one that really is hitting all those points to bring in, or is this one you can appreciate from afar? These are my thoughts on the topic, and I know it was very chit-chatty. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are you someone who's very good at appreciating from afar? Hannah from Hello Catwalk City is brilliant at this. She is great at not having to own everything, but can appreciate it's beautiful. And I've rewatched some of her videos back when I'm trying to convince myself that I can do this. They're very helpful. She has a great mindset on it, and I'm trying to bring a little bit more of that into mine. What are your thoughts? Are you someone like me who likes to collect and is addictive and is impulsive and likes to buy them and have them and put them around you? Or are you really good at just thinking that's really beautiful but it's not something I need to own? Let me know your thoughts. Obviously finances come into it. A few years ago, this wasn't even a conversation I had to have with myself because I couldn't afford them. I was still building the business, still doing work to our home, still a lot of things going on, wasn't in this position. But what's your position? What do you think? Are you fabulous at this, or is it something you also struggle with? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment box. If you have enjoyed this chit chat in any way, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. Please do consider subscribing. And if you're not done with me yet, I'm going to leave another video on the screen for you to enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. Please take care, and I will see you again in the next one.